name is Francesco Simoneschi. I'm the CEO of TrueLayer. We are a startup based in London. What we do, we make it simple to integrate with financial services like open banking and open finance. And we want to do that in any app, any website, anywhere in the world. Our mission is to open up finance so that businesses can innovate and consumers have more control over their finances. At TrueLayer, we had a pretty hands-on experience, given that we work with some of the leaders in this space, at least from a fintech perspective, like companies like Nutmeg, Free Trade, Stake, Cheap, Plum, and quite a few others. And what we learned is that this is not theoretical. Like, this is something that can happen right now, and open banking is enabling those sorts of use cases. And we identified three main areas. The first one is improving the quality of user experience and insights. And this is fundamental to create a habit into consumers about saving money, about be really aware of the importance of saving now for the future, and how to allocate in the right way, in the right balance, and within the full financial picture of whatever is their earnings. At the end of the day, you need to select a firm or a service that helps you to save and invest that money. And we have seen that open banking brings down that sort of barrier between your main high street bank account and this wealth of services that can help you out to invest and allocate your money efficiently. And so this brings cost saving to those wealth manager firms and brings operational efficiency. This is thanks to payment initiation. This is bank to bank transfers. And we have a lot of examples and operational history into that. The third bit is streamlining onboarding. And again, it goes inside of this big topic of friction. Whenever there is friction, consumers are prevented to access the best opportunity to invest their money. Removing friction, it means liberating money. It means enabling consumer and customers to be more aware and increase the number of services that they can use. And so with open banking and open finance, what you can do is to streamline bank account verification, streamline fact checking, streamline a number of paperworks that are usually required in order for you to onboard into new services. Open banking was very regulatory heavy. So you have seen a regulator, the Treasury, stepping in, mandating, organizing, and that created some shortcoming into the actual deliverables. Like the products that bank build are probably 80% there. They are missing very valuable features. And so I think we need to create a slightly different framework this time around. We need to have the regulator to ignite the process and push the market into that direction, but we need to leave it open, a little bit of space also for business model innovation. We need to realign incentives. We need to make sure that everyone has also a financial incentive into building open finance infrastructure this time around. And so I think like also the regulator needs to get a little bit more, I would say, an approach that is more sensible toward testing first and maybe regulating a little bit after. If we look at open banking, that may be like a more narrow focus within open finance, like those shortcomings are quite visible. I think about we are still missing an identity product in this space. Your bank data is now portable, but your identity, it's not portable yet. And so what we can do in that direction? When we opened up the bank account and payments from your bank account, there are a number of use cases that are out there. For instance, like helping consumers saving money in a very recurring fashion, very contextual fashion, that they are being left out. So we need a form of variable recurring payment. And again, we need to have the regulator creating that sort of master framework where also banks and financial institutions can also benefit more directly from this kind of innovation. We need to continue to work as an industry and understand the use cases. Here we are talking very much generally from a very broad industry perspective, but then there is the reality of building products and building products with the right ergonomics for consumers. In that sort of dialogue, I find that when you go from the regulator, politicians, and some sort of like the broader industry, and then you break it down into what the product actually do, something is often missed. We need to absolutely try to make sure that this process of discovering use cases and building technology that is fit for purpose, it's central and needs to be placed in the central part of the debate. So let's start with the use cases. Let's figure out what kind of technology do we need to build in order to enable those use cases. Let's rank those use cases from like the most valuable to all the others, and let's figure out what are commonalities and how we can create synergies and economies of scale inside of those use cases. And also, I said it before, like the ultimate validation that we are doing a good job is measuring and testing out in the wild. So let's try to have a progressive view into how we can enable this testing before fully regulating, before fully imposing all sorts of like requirements on both parties, so that we know that we are building into the right direction. We know that we are taking a very iterative approach, and we are learning our lessons throughout the journey.